Okay, call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Brian Card,
Here.
Norm Ferrin,
Present.
Michael Huco,
Here.
John Sarantopoulos.
Here.
Lorraine Lagarde.
Here.
And Keith Thurlow.
Here. What am I reading? No seating of the alternates. Any addendums? We got an organizational meeting tonight?
Unless the commission would like to delay it till next month, but your organizational meeting usually happens this month. It's up to the commission members.
That means I could,
What? You can change.
I could become a normal member and not a chairman.
No.
Let's go through it. Let's get it done. Transfer of meeting to staff members to run election of officers.
Okay, good evening, everyone. This is our organizational meeting. We are going to go through the board and elect our new staff. At this point in time, I'm going to ask, and this is strictly for the commission members, is there any other commission members that have a nomination for the chair?
Please.
I nominate Keith Thurlow for chair.
No.
Keith Thurlow has been nominated. Do we have a second on that?
Second.
All right, now we're going to have a discussion. First off, Keith, do you accept the nomination?
Yes.
Okay.
I like
Um,
punishment.
And also, before we go any further, is there any further nominations for the chair? Okay. We will take a vote, a roll call vote. All those in favor of, Joanne, can you do a roll call, please? For the vote?
I can't vote on that.
No.
Brian Card,
Yes.
Michael Huco,
Yes.
Norm Ferrin,
Yes.
John Sarantopoulos,
Yes.
Keith Thurlow.
Yes.
Motion
Okay.
carries unanimously.
Mr. Thurlow, congratulations, you are the chair. Now we will take the nominations for a vice chair. Do I have any nominations for a vice chair?
Nominate Brian Card.
Is there a second nomination for Brian Card? John Sarantopoulos. Mike Yuko has nominated. John Sarantopoulos has second. Mr. Card, would you accept the nomination?
Yes.
Okay, now, Joanne, could you do a roll call vote for that?
Michael Huco,
Yes.
Norm Ferrin,
Yes.
John Sarantopoulos,
Yes.
Brian Card,
Yes.
Keith Thurlow.
Yes.
Congratulations, Mr. Card, you are the vice chair. Last but not least, we need a nomination for the secretary. Do we have a nomination for a secretary?
I'll nominate Mike Huco for secretary.
I have a nomination of Mike Yuko. Do I have a second for that?
I'll second.
Norm Farren has second. We have a first and a second. First comment, Mr. Yuko, would you be willing to accept that nomination?
Yes.
Okay, do we have any further nominations for that secretary? Okay. Joanne, can you please have a roll call vote?
Norm Ferrin,
Yes.
John Sarantopoulos,
Yes.
Brian Card,
Yes.
Michael Huco,
Yes.
Keith Thurlow.
Yes.
Congratulations, Mr. Yuko. Our chair is Mr. Keith Thurlow, our vice chair is Brian Card, and our secretary is Mike Yuko. And I'm going to transfer the meeting back to our newly elected officers.
We're gonna vote on the bylaws.
Bylaws, I don't know if anybody has any sort of edits that they want, or if they want to give them to me for next month.
Have you read the bylaws? You wanna put it off for another month?
I would say next month.
Next
I would
month?
say next.
Next month?
Okay, that'd be March 16th.
Yeah. Okay. Citizens' comments on items not subject to public hearing. Individual presentations not to exceed 3 minutes, limited to an aggregate of 21 minutes unless otherwise indicated by majority vote of the commission. Public comments can be emailed to publiccomment@killenlyct.gov or mailed to the Town of Killenly, 172 Main Street, Killenly, Connecticut, 06239. All public comments must be received prior to 2 p.m. the day of the meeting. Public comment received will be posted on the town's website, www.killenlyct.gov. As this is a hybrid meeting, citizens can participate in the citizens' comment by WebEx, join by phone, 1-415-655-0001, access code 2868-609-3977. Public is welcome to speak. I would like to make a comment that the planning and zoning does not handle the aquifer, just for reference. That's handled by the wetlands and has been for quite a few years now. Just, it's a point to be made. But feel free to come up and speak about anything that's not on the public hearing tonight.
Good evening, thank you for letting me speak. Al Dufresne, 148 Pond Road, Bayville. Okay, the only thing I have to say is, the abutting property owners to 90.
Well, this 90 will have to, that's actually public hearing.
Okay,
So
so-
this will be stuff that's not part of that public hearing.
Okay, so that's it, I guess.
All right.
Just to clarify, you are able to talk at a public hearing. We do allow to have public at
Yeah.
public
Okay.
hearings. Okay.
So nobody has any other comments tonight, then? Okay.
Actually, I do, because I do have something to talk about. Ida Barris, 1123 North Road, East Killingley. I'm a little confused about what we're allowed to talk about. We can't talk about the pond, which is fine, or about the aquifer, but,
Well, you can talk about the aquifer, but
no, I
we
know,
have
you're
no
not,
control over
I
it.
understand that. But this is a planning and zoning meeting, and you are considering this giant warehouse. Are we allowed to talk about that?
In a minute, we will open up the public
Okay.
hearing for that.
Okay, thank you.
particular
That was my
project.
question.
This is just for other general questions of
thank you.
issues. Actually, there's a subdivision beforehand.
I'm Sandy Farrell at 41 Peep Toad Road in East Killingley, Connecticut. I have a general question, and it's about how much room is left in the existing Killingley Industrial Park? I'll just put that out there.
Yeah. I'm not
Because all the things that we're talking about that are raising public awareness, to me, belong in the industrial park because we created zoning so that we would have a planned community. So I'm just wondering, to look into what's the acreage left there for that kind of traffic, trucks and whatever. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's left up there. I don't know if you want to
It
comment
would be
or not.
worth looking into, because when we established zoning back when I was a kid, we planned for all the different types of zoning to best satisfy everything in the town, and we created an industrial park so that big traffic areas would be in a place that it was all planned for. And rural would be rural, whatever. So I'm just wondering how developed that is right now, because that would be the place to have great big, a lot of traffic be there. Thank you.
No? No, leave it. Okay, and nobody else want to speak now? Before we move on? All right, one more time, public hearings. Public hearing comments can be mailed to public comment at killenlyct.gov or mailed to the town of Killenly, 172 Main Street, Killenly, Connecticut, 06239. All public comments must be received prior to 2 p.m. the day of the meeting. Public hearing comments received will be posted on the town's website. To participate in the public hearings, the public may join via telephone while viewing the meeting on Facebook Live. To join by phone, please dial 1-415-655-0001 and use the access code 2868-609-3977. All right, subdivision application number 251361, Michael and Sharon M. Doty, 101 Coomer Hill Road, GIS map 186, lot 3.1, 17 acres, RD, proposed 3-lot subdivision, continued from January 20th. Mr. Tebow.
Mr. Chairman?
Ma'am.
Just a quick comment, everybody should have on their desk a new set of maps, 11 by 7s. They've gone from 3 lots down to 2. And they did give us all a new set of maps.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. For the record, Norm Tebow, Killingly Engineering Associates. I am here this evening representing Mr. Doty for this proposed 2-lot subdivision on Coomer Hill Road. As you recall, we were here last month, and at the time we had brought forward a 3-lot subdivision of 8.8 acres, 2.3 acres, and 6.6 acres. The one remaining item that, when we left at the last meeting, was the subject of the open space, or fee in lieu of open space. So we had put together a sketch of an open space area that we were proposing. And after going over it with Mr. Doty and looking at the regulations and how it would have to be configured, he did not want to go with the open space just because it was going to be eating up a bunch of usable land that he could possibly develop at some point. Then we talked about the fee in lieu of open space for the 3 lots. The original plan was for him to keep the 8.8 acre lot, give his daughter a 2.3 acre lot, and then offer the 6.6 acre lot for sale. And we were, I guess, under the assumption that for the fee in lieu of open space, it would be divided equally between the 3 lots, and the lot that he kept and the lot that he was giving to his daughter would not be counted, and a third of that fee would be associated with that last lot that he would be selling. However, after discussions with Anne Marie and with the town's attorney, it was determined that the entire fee would have to be paid upon the sale of that 3rd lot. Mr. Doty did not want to do that. So in turn, what he did is he combined the previous lots, lots 1 and 2, which is shown as lot number 1, now with a little bit over 11 acres. And the 6.6 acre lot will be the lot that he deeds to his daughter, making it a true, family subdivision. And we did discuss this with Anne Marie. And she also handed me this evening some family transfer notes that would have to be put on the plans and in the deed for that 6.6 acre lot as well. So that was kind of the last hanging item that at the termination of the last public hearing before we continued it to this evening. And I will note that we are setting back the street line to that 25 feet from the center line. There are some sections where the roadway itself now is literally right on the street line, because you've got a stone wall and the road is paved right up until the stone wall. So this would give the town the ability to make some modifications, make some roadway improvements with that 25 feet in the future if they felt as though it was necessary to do so. I believe that was really the one hanging item. I'd be happy to answer any additional questions the commission may have at this time.
Commission members, anybody? Mike?
Not at the
John?
moment.
Oh, go ahead, Mike. No. Brian?
Nope.
No? Nope. Lorraine? I guess there's no questions. Staff?
I just want to verify with that, you saying 25 feet off of the central line, so engineering is aware of that, and there is no issue with that.
Yeah, it's
You okay with that? Yes. Okay. Just
Yeah.
want to make sure. Thank you.
All right, if we're done, anybody from the public want to speak to this application? I think that means no. So we'll have a motion to close this public hearing.
I'll make a motion, we close this public hearing.
Want a second? Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Public hearing's closed. Special permit application 251362, Derek B. Redgate, P.E. Killenly One LLC, landowner 90 Putnam Pike, GIS map 89, lot 22, 58 acres, general commercial, to construct 2 new distribution centers totaling 476,250 square feet of gross floor area with associated loading bays, continue from January 20th. Introductions, please.
Evening. Good evening, Mr. Chairman. My name is John Nuff. I'm an attorney with an office at 42 Cherry Street in Milford, Connecticut. And I'm here tonight on behalf of Killenly One LLC, which is the owner of the property at 90 Putnam Place. The parcel is located, consists of 58 acres. It's in a general commercial zone. This is an application to construct 2 distribution centers totaling about 476,000 square feet. This is a special permit use in the zone. As you noted, the hearing was open last month. We didn't have an opportunity to make a presentation, or we elected not to because of revising the plans. Those revised plans have been submitted. We're going to be back before wetlands at the beginning of March. So certainly we cannot close the hearing this evening, but we want to make the presentation, answer any questions that the commission may have, maybe respond to some of the comments from the public, and then we'll continue on to the next month. So with that, I'm going to give you Derek Redgate, who is a professional engineer with Solly Engineering.
Before you leave, could you give us your name again, just
Yeah.
slow down?
Yeah, sure. I will give you my card as well. John Nuff, K-N-U-F-F.
K-U-N?
K-N-U.
K-N-U?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Derek Redgate, and I'm a civil engineer with Solely Engineering. We have offices in Monroe, Connecticut, and in Quincy, Massachusetts. Here to give both an update and a quick presentation on where we are. John mentioned we have been in front of wetlands prior to, I think it was around a little bit before the holidays. We're going through that process. It's a pretty large project with extensive site plans. There's 53 24 by 36 plans that we submitted both to wetlands and to planning. After wetlands submittal, there was a site walk. There was a few questions from that committee. We submitted our plans, which have been reviewed by the town engineer. The town engineer had extensive comments for us to address. In addition to that, this application originally had 4 or 5 waivers that we were seeking. We felt that that was good engineering practice. Some of the waivers we were seeking, they were things like parking space sizes and including fencing. We did have one waiver request that we decided to change our plans, which was a very extensive change to our plans, and that was your criteria call for maximum slopes of 2.5 to 1. We had our design with a little bit steeper slopes, not much 2 to 1, but the effect of that change was a pretty extensive design change for us. So in that time period, we have addressed the town engineer comments, as well as changed our design plans to exclude and not be seeking any waivers for this project. So that's a little bit of an update of where we are timeline. We do expect to go back to wetlands in March. We fully understand that in the sequence of events, you know, it's normal, practical, and this commission probably requires it, that we would have full approval with IWWC. So I'll go through a big picture of our plans. I also have with me tonight Jared Height, who's our traffic engineer on this project. This project has multiple consultants. It's large, it's 58 acres. There's 2 warehouse buildings. So as you can imagine, multiple civil engineers have worked on this project. We have traffic engineers working on the project. We have an architect, Vivo Architects in Boston. We have landscape architects and so forth. So bear with me. There's multiple people working on this project. Different people would answer different questions. So I'm happy to answer questions and also take notes on any concerns and comments, and report back when we fully expect to come back to this this commission. So I'd ask Jonathan if he could put up the colored plan. I think that would be the best one. It's the rendering of the site. Yep. So this is our development plan. 90 Putnam Pike. If you look to the left where the color starts, it's an access road that takes you up the elevation. There's quite a bit of elevation change, and the new driveway access branches off with 2 new warehouse buildings. The one to the west is 179 square feet, and the one to the right is 297 square feet. The reason we've located these buildings the way they are is the site, there's some wetlands in the middle of the site, bisecting the site. So we have one building to the west and one building to the east. Typical warehouse building, you drive up the driveway, providing some landscaping and screening along the driveway, and then parking lots and loading bays that would be typical for a warehouse. So this project has, all the elements of a standard development. There's a very robust stormwater management system. We've looked quite extensively at the stormwater on the site. Elevation changes that required retaining walls. I mentioned the new access, which we've gone over with the fire department, and in preliminary talks with them, they were satisfied with the emergency access to the site. We're going to supply a new water supply from Putnam Pike to deal with fire and fire safety. There's 2 new septic systems here, one for each building. That's also part of the design. I mentioned stormwater management, lighting, dark sky compliant lighting system, all the elements of standard modern construction. So these are our renderings from done from our architects. So what they do is they take our site plan in that we design in 2D, if you will, and then show graphically what it would look like. There's another one that kind of gives a better visual of the elevation change and what it would look like, bird's eye view. If that's the only one I have, there's an additional one here. I think this one is slightly different, and it shows both buildings, from Putnam Pike. So you see the other one up little bit of elevation behind it.
Mr. Redgate, you gotta make sure the public can see this as well
Yeah,
as we
so
can.
I believe that's very, very, very similar, so I just want to point out that this graphic does show both buildings and the elevation change. So I don't know how you want to handle questions. I'm the civil engineer. I'm happy to take some questions now, but I think I'd prefer to let Jared, who's our traffic engineer, give also a short presentation, and perhaps we can both take questions simultaneously.
Jared, could I have your name for the record?
Absolutely. For the record, my name is Jared Height, Senior Project Manager with Soli Engineering.
Can you spell your last name?
Yep, H-I-T-E, Jared, J-A-R-E-D. So Soli, we produced the traffic impact study for 90 Putnam Pike, the warehouse development in accordance with the town standards as well as Connecticut DOT standards for traffic impact study analysis. We analyzed the existing conditions of the adjacent roadway network surrounding the property. Our study area consisted of 5 intersections along Route 12, Route 101, as well as the 395 ramps. We collected traffic data collection, which consisted of turning movement counts at those intersections during the month of June of 2025. We ensured that school was in session so we can get that peak operation for the roadway network. We then analyzed those intersections for that baseline existing 2025 analysis using Synchro. That's a simulation traffic software that we use to analyze the intersections.
Can you identify the intersections for the record?
Yes. So one of the intersections was Route 12 at Soap Street in Killingley High School. The second intersection was Route 12 at Route 101 in Main Street. The third intersection, Route 101 at I-395 northbound ramps. Route 101 at I-395 southbound on-ramp. And the last intersection was Route 101 at I-395 southbound off-ramp in Killingley Commons. So once we analyzed our existing baseline, we then project those volumes by 5 years by about 1% to get a 2030 projection. And we analyze that, and we call that baseline our no build. So we have an existing, a no build, and then what we did was we utilized the national standard ITE trip generation manual to get an approximation of the site generated trips that will be proposed by the site. And we add that onto the roadway network as well, and that will be called our build analysis. So now we have 3 scenarios that we're analyzing, and that's the existing, the no build, and the build. We also analyzed for safety analysis. We're required to analyze any crash information. So we took the crash data provided by the CONDOT website. We take those crashes, we analyze it, investigate those crashes to see if there's any patterns that develop. Maybe their intersection could be, geometrically issues or even timing issues with the signals that could produce those crashes. But the results yielded that majority of those crashes were driver characteristic crashes and vehicles following too closely and failing to yield to one another. So there were no patterns that were found in that investigation. So yes, with that said, our analysis is with the town traffic engineer as well as with DOT. We're awaiting comments from both the town engineer and DOT. So when we get those comments, we'll respond to those when we get them. The analysis, the conclusion is, the development did not create any negative impact to the intersections based off of our level of service. And that's where we're at.
So did you not consider Attawaugan and Route 12?
So the way you're required to count an intersection if it's impacted by 100 or more trips. So the 5 that we collected were the ones that were close near it. But so to answer your question, no, we didn't collect the information at that intersection.
You don't think that would be necessary? I mean, it's the secondary access to 395 to the north. I would think that would be more critical than Soap Street.
Okay.
Some street would be critical with the buses and stuff, but, so you just don't feel it's important at all to do
We
it.
just didn't study that one. Yeah.
Is it possible to get it done?
Yeah, absolutely. We can take a look at it.
Commissioners, questions?
Oh, yeah. So, on the site plan, you had the waivers, and you said you have, removed all the waivers per your January 15th memo. So,
That is correct.
are you putting in a control gate access in there?
Yes, we are. So the latest set of site plans we submitted on Thursday last week, so the new set will be dated February 12th, 2026. And those plans include gated access in and out of the site.
And they will have a Knox Park access for the fire department for use?
Yes, and it can, yes.
Well, that's a requirement by our ordinance anyway, so.
Noted.
The second one you had was on the fencing and screening. How are you planning on doing something around for the residents close to the centers?
So the residences that abut the property, closest housing is on Putnam Pike. So if that's what you're referring to.
That's one of them.
We, there is a buffer area between their property that we tried to maintain as best we could. We actually have included some additional landscaping, as well as that maximizing the length that we could provide while still, putting in the the center and the loading bays as best we could. But we have the general. Your general landscaping requirements, which we met, and we also have included some additional screening where we had the ability to, and with the understanding that we are close to that one particular property.
Yeah, I think you're very close to that property.
Yes, we are.
I would like to see something more than just that, because you got trucks coming down and the Jake brakes working and everything, and, how are you gonna stop that noise from for those residents? So, something I'd like to see you look very closely at that resident.
We can take a closer
Good
look
work
at it,
with
but
it.
I believe, our plans, we have thought of that, and we have provided some additional thought into providing, but we can, I'll note to take a closer look at that.
So the third one was the loading trailer spaces were 14, now they're 15 by our regs, right?
That is correct. They've been all updated to 15.
And the last one was, it's a 2-to-1 slope now, as required?
Opposite of that. We had 2-to-1,
I'm sorry.
and 2.5-to-1 is slightly less steep, and so we have revised the latest site plans to have a maximum slope of 2.5-to-1 across the entire site.
Okay, that takes care of the first part. We're gonna be going for quite a while. I take it the operation and maintenance manual is still in effect? It's still good?
The operation and maintenance plan, referring to stormwater management, yes, that,
Okay.
yep.
So on page 3, the storm trap cement chamber system. Says, how often is that inspected?
So I don't have the stormwater report and the document that you're referring to in front of me, I believe that's in there. You know, typically it's, I believe it's either 6 months or a year, something like that, something along those lines. But we have two operation and maintenance plans. One is during construction, and one is after construction.
I don't think there's anything in there saying, or it just says, you know, shall be visually inspected, but it doesn't say how often, so you might wanna look and see.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that. Typically, it's some time period that, you know, isn't too onerous, but definitely with every year, it would be inspected and cleaned accordingly in addition to its normal maintenance.
And on page 4, on the maintenance, the second bullet states 1 to 2 times annually. Can you explain that? Is it 1 or 2 times, or is it, you know, how often, you know, 1 or 2?
You know, so you typically would hire a company that would do it. They would come out and, you know, it could range in frequency, just like, you know, maintenance on someone's house on a certain thing. So, you know, the frequency is, you know, sort of based on rainfall events and visually, you know, what it's looking like, every sequence of events that you go over there. If you go every 6 months at the beginning and you hardly have any sediment to fill out, then maybe you can go to a year.
So shouldn't that be stated? as such?
It's typical to give a range, but we can certainly state it, and we can actually state it a little more specifically where it would be every 6 months unless that frequency was too frequent, and we would go to a year.
Okay. Now, traffic study. So, did they, any estimate, I think it,
During construction.
not sure, because we don't know the tenants, the hours of operation. Any estimate? 24/7?
A typical warehouse would operate 24/7, yes.
Okay. Your traffic study states that no trucks will enter or exit going north. How are you going to enforce that? Or how are you going to have the tenants enforce that?
So this may be a weak answer, but there will be a sign that says no right turn.
Yeah. So we have a 7-Eleven going in on Attawaugan Crossing Road, which is north of the property, which will have a diesel or a truck fueling station on it. You think that if the truck driver is low on fuel, he's not gonna pull into that 7-Eleven, seeing Chucky's might be, or the mobile station might be packed, to fill up and not come up Attawaugan Crossing to Route 12 to your site? You really think that's gonna stop anybody? So how can you say no traffic? So we're gonna have truck traffic going up Route 12 to Attawaugan Crossing, and that is as the chairman pointed out, make the turn at Attawaugan Crossing's lights very dangerous. So I would like to see a traffic study at Attawaugan Crossing Route 12 done also.
We don't want to see trucks going north on Route
Well.
12 as well. We will, there is, hard geometry ways to limit this, with doing the curbing in such a way that you can only come in from the south and exit that way, making it very difficult, and other sort of barriers that we could look into. And so I actually feel that's appropriate here. And so we'll add that to the list of things that we'll try to accommodate.
Plus and your table on page 8 has approximately 14 trucks and 88, on the peak hours, 88 vehicles and 14 trucks for 102 new. So you're saying the 14 trucks, which sounds a little low, but okay, will never take a right-hand turn. Now, do you consider, so you're saying also that only 15% of the vehicles will take a right-hand turn onto Route 12 North, which tells us that's roughly, if you go by 88, roughly 13 vehicles now. Cargo vans classified in Connecticut as a vehicle. So I'm figuring that's some of the cargo van on a distribution center. Say like an Amazon, you got cargo vans. So you're saying only 13. So everybody else is going left down to the intersection. The employees will be part of that 15%. So I'm kind of confused that you're only saying 15% going left. If the person lives north, they're going to go north. If especially the employees, But the cargo van you're saying is, how are you going to limit anybody from going north? These are your figures, and they're saying even on the non-peak hours, it's how are you going to stop them from going north? Put up a sign? Yeah. People are not real good at signs sometimes. The other thing is, during your study of, was it June of 2025?
Yes.
Did you study also the timing between the lights at the 101 Route 12 intersection versus the 101 395 on-ramp?
Yes, we have those signal plans for that entire corridor.
But did someone sit there and watch it? Because that, if at times that backs up into that intersection. Have you addressed that to the state of Connecticut, that maybe have some kind of timing related better between those two lights, so at least you can have a constant flow through that intersection?
So what you're suggesting is better signal timing between the two intersections?
Yes,
so that
because
you have a
one
seamless-
turns green, the other one turns red, and you're stuck in the middle. I've been there, so
Yeah.
it's just a suggestion to the state of Connecticut saying there gotta be some kind of study done on those two lights.
Yeah, we analyze those intersections, and it's in the hands of DOT, and they will review it.
Now, you did say that the traffic impact was done by the fire chief, or the fire department. Now, was it the fire department, or was it the fire marshal?
I believe that was for the truck turns, correct, Derek?
Yeah, that's correct. I believe it was the fire marshal.
Right. There's a total difference in this town between fire marshal and fire chief.
Yes, it was the fire
The
marshal.
fire marshal's responsible for all the specifications and the requirements by the codes. The fire chief has their own board of directors that they have to answer to on fire protection and incidents, and they have to pre-plan properly, so they should be involved. So looking at your plans, it's a 10-inch line that Connecticut Water is going to put in on Route 12. and it's an 8-inch line from the street to the pump house, and then up to the warehouses, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Did you, I know it's here someplace, but there was a few hydrants that were listed on the prints, and they say typical, which is always the case. Do you know how many are gonna be on that line, or are you gonna leave that to, it should be the fire chief?
Yeah, we can get input into the fire chief. We have I don't know how many, but they're spaced out at standard intervals along the driveway, and then we always have, I believe, 2 strategically located for each of the distribution centers. But as part of site plan approval, the fire chief is welcome to review our plans and suggest more, and we can, at this point where our plans are with the town engineer, we'd be happy to accommodate that and maybe, push that along and have him review those plans also as part of site plan review.
Now also, I see 2 water tanks, and I've been told, and I'm not sure which one, but the 2 water tanks, one of them is close, and it doesn't show it on the prints that I got, was close to the propane tanks. I was told that that was a comment of getting that moved. Am I correct or not?
I have not seen that comment from the town engineer. I did not see that in his latest comments.
I wouldn't want to see the water tank next to the propane bottles or the propane tanks. So I would request that one, and I think it's the east building, that water tank be moved. Now, on sheet 11, or 211, the entrance has a 22 inches on the right-hand side, a distance. The travel lane, 22 feet, I'm sorry. 22 inches wouldn't make it, but
Yes.
22 feet. There's nothing on the left, but I take it it's the same on the left. As you go up, the road goes to 18 feet and then 15 feet on each side, right by the pump house. Can that be made 22 feet on both sides of the streets, up and down? Standard, the whole length of the road.
Yeah, that is the intent.
Well,
We can double check the plans on that. The intent where there's the or a divider is that there's from memory, I believe it's 18 feet on both sides, so they're one way. In the
Well,
total-
it shows, but down below, at the entrance, you show a divider between the two of them, and you're saying there's 22. So why can't we make it 22 all the way to the warehouses? You know, you're gonna have especially a big apparatus coming up, or even trailer trucks coming up. I'd like to see 22. Do you know what the road distance is to building 1?
The exact road distance.
Or approximately?
Yeah, I know that it was roughly 2,500 feet of roadway. So to distribution center one, I'd estimate 1,500 to 1,800 feet, linear feet.
In building two?
Building two from the entrance,
Yep.
roughly 2,500.
25. So we did receive, and this is more for the staff, the memo from Chris Chamberlain. Was that forward to the fire marshal and the fire chief?
Off the top of my head, I'm gonna have to say no.
Could we, I'd like to get their input into that memo, if that's, they're the,
The fire chief or the fire marshal?
both. On page 10, would it be possible, you made a nice, for emergency vehicles, connection between, and center number 2, on the, let me see, south side of the building, connection between the parking lots. Would it be possible, would it be possible to make a connection to the building 1 on the south side to the, where the area says emergency vehicle parking? Because no one, I would basically yell at people if that, God forbid you had an incident, you're gonna go all the way around the building to get to the parking area for the emergency vehicles on the west side of that building. You gotta go all the way around. Is there a way of, off the street, off the road, connecting, have a connector put in?
I'm not sure I understand where you're talking about. You come in off of Putnam, you go up the main
Up the road,
Mhm.
and then building or center number 1, right
Yep.
over here, it says emergency vehicle parking area.
Ah, yeah,
But you gotta go all the way around the building to get to it.
yeah.
I'm saying, can you connect the road to that?
Yeah, we cannot. There's quite a bit of grade change there. The reason the road is long and windy is to keep reasonable slopes. And so offhand, I don't know what the difference in slope would be there, but it would be a lot more than acceptable.
Can you look into it?
I'm happy to look into it, yep.
Okay, the stormwater report, can you explain the difference between the 2 reports? The one we had and what the new one? Or
Yeah.
just a basic?
Yeah, they're very, very similar. Yeah, there really is no changes between the two stormwater reports. The second stormwater report gets into a little more detail of the drainage to Route 12, instead of just analyzing it as just the drainage impact to Route 12. We looked at the impacts of the drainage system at multiple points along Route 12. So there's catch basins in Route 12. We don't want to send more drainage to one and take too much out of another. We want to distribute it so that we're not impacting, the smaller pieces of the drainage system, as opposed to just looking at it more holistically.
Speaking of the drainage, the memo, if I read it right, and correct me if I'm wrong, each catch basin will drain into the next one, which finalize drain into D, I guess it is, the right by the entrance. Am I correct in assuming that, or?
Yeah, I mean, there's, no, the catch basins will go to manholes. And the manholes will convey a new pipe that will connect to the drainage system in Route 12 at the entrance.
Okay. So the catch basins and the manholes will be on the side of the road.
Catch basins will be on the side of the road, manholes will be interior.
Correct.
And there'll be curbing new curbing to channel it towards the catch basins.
Okay, so when they plow and they all get covered with snow, what's the intent then?
Yeah, we'll have to maintain them and maintain them to, clear them and have them operate appropriately.
That, like to see that in the drainage thing, is that you will maintain them, because in the fall, when you got leaves covering them and backing everything up, you get a rain, where's the rain gonna go?
Yep. That
So,
happens
I'd
in all
like to
streets.
see that in the drainage part. Will there be any outside storage you know of?
No outside storage of materials and equipment that long-term, no.
Dumpsters? I'm sure there'll be dumpsters. Is there a location for them?
Dumpsters for standard trash, the employees, no specialized dumpsters. Location of them, my plan's very general. I don't, honestly don't recall exactly their location.
They're not there. That's why you can't.
Okay, I'll double check that.
Yes, please do. And the pedestrian crossing signs, I don't see any on the plans. So, couple more. Snow removal. You have a snow removal area? I didn't see any on the plan, so can you possibly look into that and update the plans to show us where the snow removal is gonna be?
Yeah, we can take a look at some of the areas where it would be appropriate and label snow removal areas on the plan. Yeah.
And the last one I got on sheet, this gave me a chuckle, on sheet 3.03, note 12, under typical sprinklers, fire service detail. Can you correct it? Because right now, the plans I got says it's Norwich. We're not Norwich.
This is not Norwich. Yes,
No, it
correct.
isn't. So that gave me a little
We
chuckle.
will
so.
definitely correct that.
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Anybody else?
I have a
John?
question. Can I
Well-
question?
Well, John just said first, okay.
Oh, John.
Yeah, he already.
Okay. What kind of trucks go in there? Are you gonna be bringing in 53 footers?
Yeah, these are WB50 is
Are you gonna be
tractor
bringing in doubles?
tractor trailers. No, I don't believe the design or the loading areas accommodate doubles, so I will say no.
I saw on the plans where you had a straight job showing its dimensions on one of the curves. I hope that you've taken consideration into a 53 footer, the radius that needs versus, a straight vehicle. And what catches my eye is the traffic being dumped on Route 12. You've got lanes of 12 feet, and the highway department's right across the street from that. They've got problems getting their vehicles out there at certain times of the day. And trailers going in and out, I mean, in order to make that turn, they're gonna take up both lanes. And if there's any traffic at all, there's gonna be, a tie-up right there. And furthermore, if you head south towards 101, you've got 3 lights right after, one right after another. 3 to get on the highway going south, 2 to get on it going north. So that's gonna be a hell of a, I don't, I appreciate that you've had this study done. But in light of that, I think, as lay people here, we should probably, at your expense, get a firm, an independent firm, to take a look at this traffic thing so that we'll have some say with the state of Connecticut and I guess the town of Killenly would be involved too, the highway department, in ensuring that if this project goes up there, we're not gonna have a huge problem that we're gonna have to live with right in that general area. That's about all the comments I've got.
Yeah. I'll just say, so we do have, the town engineer specifically requested to see the traffic impact study that we did, and we have not had comments back from them. So I expect some, additional traffic comments that we don't know of yet from the town engineer. Also, Route 12 being a state road, and our past practice with Connecticut and other states is that they're pretty thorough. So we have not seen their.
Have you heard from the state yet concerning
So we
what
have
they
heard from
think
the
of that access
So
area?
the state reviews the drainage as well, and they like to go in sequence. So they want to see our drainage. We want to see us change our drainage before they do the traffic. So that's sort of the stage we're in right now. They've seen the drainage.
Well,
We've
that would give us a
made
good
changes.
opportunity to have an independent study done, so that we know what to do.
Yeah, no, I think by the next meeting, we would have both state comments that they may have and town engineer comments. And we're happy to share those. And part of this process is us working with them as well to address their comments.
Because at that intersection, not only do you have traffic lights, but you've got an access and to that shopping plaza that's there. There's also a parking lot facility in that area. It's really a confusing area. And adding this to the mix, everybody had better be sure that whatever is being proposed and approved is workable. So I personally believe that we should have some independent outfit take a look at this. And I can appreciate the town engineer, but I think the town engineer would agree with me. He's not an expert in traffic. I mean, he's a civil engineer. He deals with it to a degree, but not something of this magnitude. And I think, in all fairness, that's what we should do. We should have somebody analyze this thing, a third-party independent, and tell us what should be done or what can be done, if anything at all. That's it.
Okay, John?
Yes, I'm done.
Ryan? Lorraine, I'm sorry.
Okay. One of my concerns is the wetlands and the aquifer. It's a priceless commodity to these people.
Lorraine, you have to remember that we don't really have any say. That goes before wetlands, is the wetlands and the aquifer, so.
Well, I'm just getting into, if a fire starts there, you've got diesel, you've got propane. I mean, and that could be a big concern.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
this
go
would be
ahead.
for the safety of the people
Go ahead.
that are
That's fine.
living there. That's one of
all
my
right. Go ahead.
concerns there. That's why I mentioned that.
No, that's fine. Go.
Not because I'm looking into the wetlands itself.
No, that's fine.
Okay? And the other thing I would say, I think that area, we talk about the traffic, and it's the safety of the children, and it's already a bad intersection there. I believe the storage would not only interfere with the rights and peace and privacy of the people that live there, and that's one of the things that we have to make sure, that when we do something, it's not interfering with the rights of the people. There's going to be noise, there's going to be more traffic, there's going to be diesel fuel, there's going to be propane fuel. I think that should be looked into extremely carefully. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. You know, I think the traffic studies are fine, but, you know, we live in this area. I've been here for almost 40 years, and those intersections are already a disaster. You try going Route 12, headed south. There's people that are, you know, and you get green light. There's people that are trying to come cut in front of you because there's too much traffic. They try beating that light. They wind up sitting in that intersection. You can't get through. So how is adding all this more traffic going to alleviate that situation? It's already untenable as it is a lot of times, and we've all seen it. I'm just not seeing all that increased traffic. It's already blocked, you know. That's my biggest concern.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, Mr. Hay, I'll start with you, since you're standing there patiently. Appreciate that. Just on your traffic study that you did, so you took annual average daily traffic flows from 2019 or 2020 compared to 23 from a growth perspective,
Yes.
right? And then you did, what'd you do in 25? You took time studies?
No, so in 2025, what we did was the turning movement counts.
The turning movement
Yeah.
counts at 25.
Right.
Right, so, and one of your comments in the traffic study said that there was no additional growth or planned growth after the 23 evaluation. So did you take into account the new developments that occurred after 23? When you looked at the growth, I saw you did a 1% versus the 0.5% that was
Right.
calculated.
Yeah.
You
So
think
we-
that accounts for the additional growth?
Correct.
Okay. How'd you guys address the line of sight issue to the south? I didn't see that being addressed anywhere.
So we're gonna need to clear the land, you know, of any vegetation that's in the line of sight that
Yep.
would need to be.
I saw the
cleared. And
comment,
then-
you need to
okay.
address the vegetation, you
Yeah.
got to work with property owners abutting. One of the line of sights looks like it goes through a building on
Yeah, so
on
the
plan.
truck ISD.
The
yeah.
truck line
Yeah.
of sight, so how is that addressed?
So-
What's the agreement that you have in place, if any?
We're still working on that for easement purposes.
Okay, so that's gonna be needed, obviously, because otherwise you don't comply with the line of sight, right? As long as we're all clear on that.
Yes.
Okay. Talk to me about the land use code that you use, 150. So with this right now, this is an unknown kind of warehouse distribution center. It's general in nature, right? You guys use LUC 150.
Yes.
Again, which is kind of the lowest kind of warehouse use, right? It's kind of just storage, long-term storage. If this is truly a distribution center, would one of the other codes be more appropriate?
Well, for the warehousing, we did use the warehousing. The other one would be manufacturing, I believe, and I think that's 155.
You got
But the
151 through 154.
Right.
155 is, I think, manufacturing, but you got some of the other high-end distribution centers. The LUC is, I think, 151 up to 154 that could be used, and some of them are more high use.
For all the general purpose warehousing facilities that we've used in the past always been. 150,
Understood, but I'm
yeah.
asking the question, would one of the other ones be more appropriate, and what sort of traffic counts would those yield?
I have not looked at those other land use codes, so I can't compare it with what.
So, because again, from our point of view, right now, it's a general warehouse. This could be a high-end distribution center point to point, right? So
Correct.
it could be a higher traffic flow than what we're being told, right? So the other option is to limit it, right, from an approval standpoint to a very low-end warehouse. So I'm not sure that's what the applicant wants, right? So again, I'm asking this question, so it'd be nice to know what the difference was or more information on the warehouse use.
Yeah, so what I can do is I can do a comparison of all those different warehouse uses compared to the 150 that we utilized in this report.
Again, that's up, whatever you guys want to choose. I'm bringing up the issue as a concern, right?
Yep.
For us to be looking at. And can you talk a little bit as to why the level of service improves in some of the intersections when you look at the build scenario and the actual use going into play. I'm a little confused as to why the level of services at some of the intersections improves from current condition when we add growth.
I'm just going through the report right now.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because typically, sometimes with your saturation flow rates, as a traffic engineer, I mean, saturation flow rates is 1,900, vehicles per lane, what have you. Usually, when you add growth, sometimes in the calculations of Synchro, it could jump up a little bit, but they're not drastically like improving. It's fractional of a seconds. That's typically what I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, some of these were a couple seconds. When
Yeah.
you look at it, you're talking 15, 20% improvement over time. I mean, 2 seconds is not a lot, but it's a significant. One of the ones that caught my eye was at Soap Street.
Yeah.
Right, there was an improvement at Soap Street during the peak periods, which just does not make sense to me.
Yeah.
So, so I'm just curious if you can explain that or look into it a little bit, just to make sure that those are accurate and correct.
Yep,
please.
absolutely.
Yep. And then just, I don't know if it's a kind of a gut question for you, but when you look at the traffic flow compared to the number of parking spots, right, that we're providing, I believe, over 500 parking spaces. Which again, I know those are parking rules, whatever you guys do not want to do the variance, but what is the total employee count that's expected in the building? Because right now we have 207 parking spots for vehicles, only required to have 170, so we're adding more. But yet the traffic flow only shows peak period. Again, I'm assuming peak period is morning and afternoon.
Correct.
Right, coming in of roughly 88 cars.
For the parking spaces, that's not.
I understand it's not you, but it's a question when you look at the traffic flow and you look at the peak periods versus number of parking spaces that were being provided, right?
Yeah.
And the same thing comes to trucks. We're looking at 14 trucks on the peak period. If you're looking at parking spaces for, was it 300, 200? Whatever the trucks, there's quite a few. I can't quite see the plans. 300?
I'm sorry, I was speaking out loud, so they don't match because there's so much.
I understand they don't match. One's a peak hour, one's
No,
versus
I
parking
get- no, no,
spaces.
no,
But my
but I
question is, when you look at
understand
it from a
what you're
traffic flow perspective, right? Peak hour versus just general day traffic and obviously employees. The employee ones that caught my attention more. When you're looking at 88 vehicles coming in, and as Mr. Hugo said, those vehicles could include distribution vehicles leaving if it's a distribution type warehouse, right? It depends what the LUC is, just generic personal vehicles. So. Okay, that's it for traffic study. So, thank you, sir, up there. Stormwater, a couple just quick generic questions on stormwater, because we're gonna hear a lot about the stormwater issues in this lot. And you said DOT has not approved your drainage network yet? I believe, Mr. Redgate, right?
Yes, Mr. Redgate. So they have reviewed the stormwater, and they look at it much closer in their asset, which is the roadway. So they had no comments on, in general, the site stormwater, but they did have comments on the
stormwater
the
leaving the site.
stormwater leaving the site. Yeah. So they
Correct.
asked us to look at it a little more closely at each independent catch basin.
Did they provide you a comment letter? Or
They-
email comments, or?
They do it through like a dashboard kind of thing.
Yep.
So it's not a letter, it's sort of a printout.
Is that since the February 6th report?
So
Or before that?
that's before that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it would be
I
good.
believe there were 5 comments, and they were pretty redundant. They basically just focused on the individual catch
Yep,
basins.
and has the town engineer seen that,
Yeah.
those comments?
Uh,
It'd be good for us to see the
Yeah.
big picture of what were their comments, what were their concerns related to how you addressed it. and
Yeah,
then-
we're happy to share those with them. The reason we didn't is the town engineer and the state comments were very similar.
Yep.
They were barking up the same tree, and so our reanalyzed it to basically both of them were asking the same question.
Yeah, you gotta love us engineers, we all look at the same tree.
They love drainage.
Yeah, and also from a drainage standpoint, I know the calculations, the numbers you guys used out of Atlas 14, I think those give you 50% kind of rainfall numbers when you're looking at the peak rainfall event, right? For the 2-year, 10-year, 25-year storm.
They give what? Well, I'm
The
sorry.
50% number for
Oh,
what
the
for inches per
50%
hour,
number.
right?
That's a tough one for us to meet, but yes.
Yeah, well, a 50% reduction in flow, but the actual rainfall intensity, right? It's a 50%. And they give you both the 90% fractions as well. Is there what criteria would you use or ever want to use? And I know the manual talks about using the 50% number, but also says you could use the 90% based on the local agency criteria if we chose to look at that. Would you ever choose the 90% rainfall intensity, given some of the durations and intensities of storms we're seeing lately? And given that this area tends to have higher stormwater runoff issues, and as the residents, I'm sure, are going to tell us about a little bit, and we've heard at last meeting as well.
Yeah, I can look at that a little closely. It's our stormwater system is pretty robust, so it may not matter. We may be able to.
It may not, but it'd be nice to know that
Yeah,
answer.
so,
Again, your 2-year storm, you do have a 52 or 53% reduction from an outflow. I think the 10 years like almost 50%, 25 years like 30 or something like that. So I did see that in the table. You do have a post-development reduction in flow
Yes.
versus current, but it would be nice to know if you use the higher intensities, would you still have that?
Yeah, I'm happy to look at that a little closer. I know for us to meet that 50% is very difficult, and sometimes it actually helps the other numbers because it's so difficult from a design standpoint to meet that 50%. So,
Yep. And do you have anybody who's going to talk to us about your infiltration basins? Their design, how they work, their depth. Seems they're pretty deep, it looks like, from a storage standpoint and infiltration. You're doing both storage and infiltration out of those basins, correct?
yeah, they act as both detention and infiltration, correct? Yes.
Little bit of a concern on the infiltration side. I'd like to make sure someone can talk to us about that, and just so we understand what the infiltration.
Yeah, so in general, we have taken manual test pits at multiple locations on the site so that we could actually locate them appropriately. And so from those soil data, we're able to extrapolate expected infiltration rate. And then we've used a very conservative rate, meaning conservative, slower than we think, or less infiltration than we actually think from the tests. So the town engineers asked for that as well, and quote unquote defend our infiltration rate. So we're happy with it. I think it's very conservative. All that data and all that testing data is on our plans. I think we have 1 or 2 sheets at the very beginning of the set that basically gives a little report of the location and the results of the soil testing. So.
Yep, and so my 2 concerns related to that is one of them is the infiltration basins are being placed somewhat in engineered fill, right?
Yes.
So again, you're gonna change the local infiltration rate when you're putting engineered fill in, right? Unless the bottoms are going into existing ground, depending on what compaction and settlement does to that too, right? So that's gonna change infiltration rate. So depending on what your conservative number is and how much reduction you took, that could be a concern. The second concern is where the infiltration basins are in relation to some of your retaining walls, right? And the direction of the groundwater flow that's going to occur, and is it gonna have any impact on those retaining walls?
All good questions. We, we locate them we try to locate them under the parking lots.
They are under the parking lots, but the direction of
Yeah.
groundwater flow, once it infiltrates, in my opinion, it may start flowing towards your retaining walls that you're gonna have, especially on the western side.
Yeah.
The western side and the south side in their distribution, I think that's 2 on the east side of the property.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, so I have that noted as to
Yep, that's why if you're gonna have someone to come and talk to us about those, and if they looked at those and had those concerns. Couple questions on water supply. So Commissioner Hugo talked about fire hydrants. I must have missed the fire hydrants unless they're very small on the plans. Are you intending on using fire hydrants? Because the one letter that we had here, which was memo November 18th, 25, had this thing on the back, if it looks familiar.
is that from Avid Engineers?
Avid
Avid.
Engineers?
Yep.
Just talked about the fire suppression would need to rely on on-site storage via a break tank. However, given the limited supply, even that could present challenges. So are you intending on using fire hydrants and the storage tanks, or just the storage tanks?
The
for fire control.
intent right now is both hydrants and storage tank. I think the hydrants were maybe necessarily a fire at the facility, but maybe a car you know, debris related.
Yep.
So, again, we could look at that a little closer and talk to our mechanical plumbing engineer. If both can coexist, but the intent now is that the tanks would be for life safety for the actual buildings, and the hydrants would be, you know, for potentially the building itself, but more, you know, the parking lots and vegetation.
Okay, so if we can get more clarification on fire control, I think Commissioner Yuko talked about, you know, working with the fire chief and the fire marshal and making sure we got a clear understanding of how fire protection is gonna be handled. And then can someone explain, sorry, is this from the water department, this sheet? It's unclear who's it from, I don't know who it's from. It's just
Yeah,
attached.
so, there's, we've been working with Connecticut Water.
Yep, I saw their letter.
Yep. And then we shared the Avid memo with them.
Yep.
And so the sketch, if it's attached to the Avid memo, it's from Avid. I'm not exactly positive if we, you know, collated the papers correctly, so, but I'm gonna say, I believe it's from Avid.
I just wanna know what the, even that could present challenges means, who wrote it, and how was it addressed? Right? It's attached to the Avid memo, it's the back page, but it almost seems like it's from the water department. I don't know who did the modeling, but it's just a statement that's hanging out there that doesn't seem to be addressed anywhere. And even the Connecticut Water, you know, the department talks about, you know, the average flows, but, I mean, it just says to provide pressure, you know, they're gonna need the boost pumping, but anyway, just
Yeah.
more information, I think, on that. And the general fire protection question, again, so you're gonna have, you know, 2,500 gallons a minute for 90 minutes is what you need for the storage. Big warehouses, big fires, that's sufficient, so that's gonna be a concern for us, right, to make sure it's adequate, because your boost pump's only gonna refill you at 200 gallons a minute. So you're only gonna get 1/10 of the supply needed for fire control, you know, after the 90 minutes. So,
Yeah, the intent of the bringing an MEP on board, quote unquote, early was to define some of the things that would be physically part of the site plan.
Yep.
And when building gets designed and there's tenants, there may be changes, but this is our, you know, these are spec warehouses, there's no tenants or anything.
however, yeah, I understand, but we just need to
Yeah.
make sure that there's adequate fire
Yeah.
control and fire protection for the buildings. If there's not, then that could be a concern for us, right, from an approval
Absolutely,
standpoint.
yeah.
Earth filling, section 560, I think some of it was addressed, but if you guys somewhere in your presentation will just answer the questions when you get to 560.6, 7, and 8, and just make sure you've addressed all the issues in our earth filling regs of 560, because you do have 250,000 cubic yards of material leaving the site, so we need to make sure that that process is correct. So I know you have some of the information on the plans, but I didn't see any specific information addressing
Yeah,
those
I'll
comments.
review that again. My initial review, that was more of an earth operation.
It is, except when you look at, I believe, and I can't remember it off the top of my head, but there's a section that talks about when it's part of a site plan review,
Okay.
that some of these provisions may apply at the discretion of the commission, and because it's a large project and a large amount of material moving, we want to make sure that you're addressing those criteria, those performance criteria that are in there. You're related to hours, truck movement, you know, bedrock issues, groundwater issues, those types of things that are listed in those rules.
Yep, noted.
Okay? And just, oh, and you said, just follow up on, no outside storage, will anything be stored in trailers on site?
As of now, no, and we'd be open to that as a condition.
That no on-site trailer,
No
no
on-site
on-site trailers
trailers.
would have any material stored in them? So everything
Correct.
comes in and gets emptied?
Correct.
Okay. That's it for now, Mr. Chairman.
All right, do you have any on-site crushing and processing planned?
Are you referring to during construction, during the earthwork? So, right now, we have an idea of how this operation will work, and we focus on the soil and erosion control aspect of that. There's been no one's looked at this any further during construction phase.
Well, if you're not doing anything on site, then you're gonna be trucking in a lot of material and
We
trucking a lot of material out.
Yeah, we expect to, there a lot of excavation. I mean, one site will be cut, the other site will be fill, and we're gonna use as much as we can to fill the east side with material from the west side. But we did provide in our plans and to the town engineer an estimate of significant earth removal from the site.
Yeah, well, if you could have volumes along with what Brian said, you know, with earth and gravel regs. So estimates for our view as well.
Yeah, we have numbers any way you look at this, we can provide them with computers and stuff. We have it all modeled, so we're happy to provide that information.
Have you looked at lighting? I don't seem to have a plan with the lighting schedule on it. Is it dark sky lighting?
Yeah, lighting's dark sky. We have a photometric, we provided a photometric plan, details of the lights, cutoffs, standard, modern parking lot lighting, yes.
Is this the road, the main access road, is that a boulevard situation?
It does have, one of the criteria for the fire department is to have a, redundant access in case a vehicle's broke down. So the intent of the divider was that we would widen the driveway and clarify both sides of the roadway in case that situation occurred. The fire department could go over to the other side of the road and get by a disabled vehicle.
So it is a boulevard, what you're planning?
It's a wider road than normal. There's a divider in the middle. Yes, it's not a boulevard from an aesthetic.
So what's the width?
Yeah, I believe it's 30 feet wide as opposed to a normal width would be 24.
So when you say it's 30 foot, that's, what is per lane?
So it's still 12 feet lanes, but a 30-foot full width. So I believe it's 12-foot lanes with a 4-foot divider. So you'd go 12, 4, and 12 for your 30.
So is there any particular reason the trucks on the left westerly building 1, was all put on the west side towards the houses versus the employee parking?
Yeah, this all goes back to the wetlands. We lay this out looking at the wetlands first. And then look at how the areas you have left. So geometrically, we just didn't have the trailer parking for the length of a building. So the loading is on the east side, and parking there's a little more flexibility from a site layout standpoint.
The loading is on building 1 be the west side. Is that
On
east?
building one, the loading is on the east side. You're correct. Sorry, the building 1, the loading is on the west side. Right. On both buildings, the loading is on the west side.
Okay, I don't know, I'm kind of in agreement with John about having a third party review this. I think there's a lot of open-ended questions here that we're not seeing. I'm honestly a little disappointed with a project this size. We usually have a lot more information passed on to us that, I'm not seeing a hearing. And it just seems to be not giving us everything we need to know. So I don't know what we have to do to request that.
You
but
can request it.
as a
You would
commi-
have to have the whole,
Commission
have a commission, have a
I
vote
don't know what
request it.
you people feel about it. Somebody make a motion, and we'll make a motion to request
Just,
that.
would you, a traffic third-party peer review, is that what you're?
I think the whole project.
Oh, the whole project. We're curious what information you feel you don't have.
Sorry.
Just, in general, what information do you feel that has been excluded?
First off, I'm working with the plan like this. I'm blind, I can't see it, I can't read it. I need to have bigger plans. I need to see more details of what's going on with the slopes, what's going on with the wetlands, the drainage. I'm not seeing it.
And we submitted full-size plans. I think they get distributed to you maybe
They don't, we
on
don't,
email.
you've got it, what we did is we give you the 11x7s because we don't get enough of the full-size plans.
Right.
But if you want a third-party application or third-party review, it is up to you. It's under 700.8 referrals and expert consultants.
Yeah, I mean, some of the things that were brought up tonight, like the exit onto Route 12, that whole intersection, it seems to me that detail should be a whole detail all by itself as how it approaches 12 and across, considering across from the bus garage / town public works garage. You're talking the buses that come down from at 3 o'clock or whatever time it is, late afternoon and in the morning, traveling down Route 12. It's, with something as major as the traffic flows that we're talking, traffic is obviously a big factor. I mean, obvious to us, we know Route 12 and Etowah Crossing. I mean, I travel that every day. And it's ironic because the last week I think I've met 2 trucks, which I don't ever really meet, trailer trucks. Most of them know not to try and turn up there. But I met 2 trucks in which I had to pull off so that they could make this corner. And they're literally going into the opposing lane. If they're turning west, coming down south, they have to turn all the way out into Blueville Road, which is east, and then their truck is close to hitting the vehicles that are stopped at northbound to be able to make that turn. I have to swing way out so that they can come in and make that turn. And that was southbound. The other one was one trying to make it northbound. Well, he had to wait for all the traffic to get out of the way so that he could go around. That intersection is just horrendous for any truck, never mind any numerous amount of trucks. You know, but I do agree with, there's all kinds of details that I'm not seeing that I think that this application warrants.
Yeah, I just, there is a 53 plan, very, in my opinion, very detailed set of plans, and we're happy to provide as many of these large, heavy sets as you like. We try not to give away so much paper that may just be thrown away, and sometimes with the smaller
I
applications.
understand.
Yeah.
It's a constant thing.
So, let me interrupt, John Doe. Why don't we get you full-size sets of plans? We'll get you the full engineering and stormwater reports, all the erosion control plans. We haven't responded to the town engineer fully yet, is that correct, Derek?
We have.
Okay,
Yeah.
but
we
we're
expect
waiting
a
for-
second round, yes.
Yes, correct. Let us get you everything that you want, and obviously you raised a lot of questions this evening. When we resubmit, including the full-size plans, we can respond to everything that you mentioned, and I think you'll be satisfied with what our responses are.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
It's strictly it's in our regulations that it's up to the commission to determine if there's a third-party review. It gives you the authority to go out to a third-party review. And I just want to let you know that the time frame is running. So if it is something that the commission wants to do, I would advise that the commission would do it sooner than later.
Commission members, input?
When is that permissible to make a motion? During
Right now.
our discussion or during the public,
No, right now.
right now? I make a motion that we hire an engineering firm to give us a neutral assessment of what this whole traffic thing is gonna do to this area and whether or not it's workable. Or what has to be done in addition to what's being proposed in order to make it workable. And I think it takes, somebody outside of both sides to make that determination.
Okay, I have a quick question. You said traffic, but you want a whole general review
Whole
on
general
everything?
review.
Okay.
That's up to,
Second, anybody second?
Second.
Second by Michael Hugo, discussion, not a discussion. Yeah, I just think there's a lot more in the details that we're not seeing and that I'd like to see.
so that I understand it correctly, it's gonna be a review of the whole thing, that is, not just traffic?
It'll be traffic, it will be wetlands, it'll be stormwater.
Yeah.
To be clear, so stormwater, but not wetlands, not wetland impacts.
No, not for us.
No,
Right.
not for us, stormwater, but
Okay.
Okay. Any further discussion on this? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Opposed.
Abstentions? Brian opposes.
Brian was opposed?
Brian's
Okay,
opposed.
thank you.
So be it. Anything else at this point? Commission general public wanna speak for or against? Now's the time.
Good evening, Tom Egan, Dayville, Connecticut, Stone Road. I have a couple of concerns. Those concerns are safety first. On Route 12, right across from that bus station where this is going in, where we keep our buses, if you look at the white line and the curbing, you've got about 1.5 feet on each side, right there. No place to walk, and I've seen people walking on that road where I have to slow down and stop sometimes so that I don't interfere with them walking. That's a problem on that road, and that goes all the way to Attawaugan. There's spots that are very, very narrow where the state road is there. It's just, on a safeties point of view, it's just seems very dangerous to me. I was at a warehouse today up in Norton, Mass, and near a neighborhood similar to this, but not 2 buildings, but 1. But they actually had to install, they had put wood in first, but then they tore that down and put in 35-foot barriers all the way around the whole building for sound, so that it didn't interfere with the neighborhood that was next to it. So I am asking the board to propose that they put in sound barriers, 35 feet high, high-tech material that absorbs sound. I mean, that's what they did, and it seems to work, but it's not cheap, but our life's up here. This is the quiet corner. I want to keep it quiet. Thank you.
Anybody out?
My name is Jim McGrath. I live on Oriole Drive in Danielson. I hope you don't mind if I read it, because I just wanted to get all my points across. I travel this area extensively. I've lived here for 9 years now. I never have gone to work without using either Route 12 North or 395. And the traffic there is terrible to begin with. And I'd like you to envision all this traffic going south. If it's gonna go south, it goes south. Goes down to the intersection, gets a green light. How many tractor trailers are gonna fit between Route 12 and 395 North? 2. 2 tractor trailers. Everything gets locked up for the next half mile. It's already bad there. It's gonna be up beyond this driveway. The traffic will be backed up that far. People can't get in the right lane to take a right, take a left, go center. It's chaos now. And I can't imagine adding more traffic to this and having them say that there's gonna be no effect. There's gonna be an effect. It's terrible now. Like I say, 2 tractor trailers will fill that spot. Where is the rest of the traffic gonna go? Where are the buses gonna go? I'm not opposed to bringing business to town. I'd just like it to be in the right place, and that is not the right place. Put it up on Westcott Road. It just doesn't belong here, and the infrastructure can't handle it. Thank you all for your time. I appreciate it.
Sandy Farrell again. Zips Diner is right on the corner. Everybody around here knows Zips Diner. I live exactly 2 miles up from 12 and 101 on Peep Toad Road. I've been here for 53 years, and it used to be that you drive up the road and you could turn left or right. Now, there's so much traffic coming from Rhode Island to the highway, or people who are living here, it's hard to get out of the road. You know, it's okay. But I'm just restating everything that everybody who actually lives here and experiences life here, what that reality is, as opposed to, sorry, Jared, you know, whatever DET can see on paper. And I would like to ask the people who are proposing this, in future, would you please look at the town plan of development and see where is the appropriate place to put a warehouse? And the very last thing I'm going to say is I have a friend that visits me 2 miles up from this intersection. She was driving on 101 going towards Route 12. A truck came, because there was no sign that said 395 far enough in advance. The truck came and went and nicked her car. So, I mean, it's just, I agree, and I thank you all for just being so honest and straightforward.
Mr. Chairman, we do have somebody on the phone.
Go ahead if you want. Whoever's on the phone.
It's a phone number ending in 03. Do you have anything you would like to speak to this application on? Hearing no comment.
Hey everybody, Justin Fisher, 94 Dam Road. First, thank you guys for pausing and taking the time to realize that there's a lot of unanswered questions going on with this proposal, and thank you for.
Hi, this is Jason Anderson, 125 Lake Road.
Okay. Yep. Do you want to take? Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Anderson.
Yes, my name is Jason Anderson. I live at 125 Lake Road.
Go ahead, Jason.
Well, if he comes back, we'll try again.
Thank you guys for the third party. I think everybody here would agree, and we appreciate that. I just wanted to briefly touch on the most recent incident on February 12th at 11:36. There was a pedestrian struck by a vehicle on Route 12, just so clarity. There was the ITE traffic studies based on peak hours, yet we don't know what those hours of operation are going to be, very vague, but the response stated that the typical warehouse is 24/7. So my questions are these studies for traffic on just the peak hours of 9 to 5, or are they on our first, second, and third shift? Because in my opinion, there should be 3 studies of peak hours for every shift. And that would probably give us a ballpark idea between the 6 different warehouse options that we have. I feel like the numbers for traffic studies are very vague and minor. And thank you, Mr. Card, for addressing that earlier in your statements. My questions are, is there any reason other than presenting the lowest possible projections that the analysis was only limited to just the 1 peak hour performance? And are we going to be reviewing all 3 shifts? So that's basically my concern is traffic, just like a lot of us have. No, not in June. You mean when the school system is shut down for vacation, you mean in June? Thank you very much, guys.
Excuse me. All right, go ahead.
We
Oh,
do
we're
have
all
that,
set?
we do have that caller back on the line.
Okay.
Mr. Anderson, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Oh, sorry about that. Go ahead.
That's okay. So, as I spoke last month, I've got a lot of concerns over the traffic study. As the gentleman just stated, as far as the June 2025 traffic study that was done, my question would be, what time in June was that traffic study done? Was it done while the school was still in, while schools were still in session? Was it done later in the month when they were out of session? Was it when schools were having half days and the bus schedules are different? So that's one question I have for the gentleman who did the traffic study. The other thing I want to bring up is, with the numbers as far as existing traffic volumes and projecting what the changes would be if it was built and what the changes would be if it weren't built, the no-build study. My question is you're basing a lot of this off numbers that, in a sense, bounce around when Walgreens Distribution Center was actually open. In 2025, Walgreens Distribution Center had already been closed. They closed in 2024. That's a 460,000 square foot distribution center that's already permitted, already in existence. I would love the traffic study to figure out what the change was in traffic after Walgreens Distribution Center closed and what the reopening of that, whether someone else goes in there and takes it over and uses the same facility or not, seeing it's already a permitted use, what the impact of that reopening would have on this traffic study, especially the no-build numbers. I was glad to hear that some of the commission members brought up the issue with there supposedly being no truck traffic exiting to the north or coming into the property from the north. As it was brought up, the intersection at Attawaugan and Route 12, that is a horrible intersection. I myself have run into issues with tractor-trailer traffic there since I live on Lake Road, which runs right into Attawaugan Crossing, and I frequent that intersection quite a bit. One possible proposal would be to change the entrance and exit to the building to where it doesn't come out at a basically a 90-degree angle into Route 12. But if you were to angle the exit more towards the south, that would help prevent truck traffic from being able to turn right and when they're exiting, and prevent truck traffic that's heading southbound on Route 12 from being able to turn left into it. That way, that would give you a way to physically prevent the truck, basically to cause the truck count to be zero going north or coming south. Other than if you were to do that, one thing to take into consideration is if somebody's following a GPS and a GPS takes them south on Route 12 from 395 on Attawaugan Crossing and then south on the 12, then they would actually have to go past the facility, head down to the intersection of 101, find some place to turn around, and then go back to northbound on Route 12 to your facility to get in there. So as I said, I have a lot of concerns over this traffic study. And also the timing of when this traffic study came out, as it was brought up briefly, with the 7-Eleven facility, the fueling station that was previously approved. This traffic study came out after Planning and Zoning Commission had approved that project. So I would love to see any renewed traffic study or more information coming forward to revise this one, in a sense to include all the traffic from any other project that's already approved, whether it be the 7-Eleven fueling station or existing facilities like the Walgreens facility. One last thing I would like to bring up, during public comment earlier, somebody brought up why putting distribution centers in this area, where we stand with the industrial park. Right now, everything in the industrial park, all the parcels are occupied, short of 2 of them, that to my knowledge, those 2 are already under a purchase contract. So there really isn't, with a proposed use there, which isn't going to be a warehouse if it comes through. So that being said, we really don't have room in the industrial park to put this. And I understand the need for growth in town. And I just want to thank the Planning and Zoning Commission for all the time. And I'm glad to hear that you're going for the third-party review of this whole project. And that's all I have. And thank you and have a good evening.
So we have another caller ending in 6-2. Do you have any comments for public comment?
Hello?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
All right. My name is Deidre Simeone. I live on Soap Street in Dayville. If locals know, Soap Street is the cut through. We call it the Dayville 500. We get a lot of, just lots of people cutting through Soap Street. With the traffic study, do they include like detour reroutes when there's accidents or whatever on the highway? Like I live literally right on the 395 Soap Street, like in Richard Straub's old house. So like we always see the highway backing up on both sides. Do they take those detours into, when they do the studies?
Through you, Mr. Chair. So the applicant will have a chance to respond to your questions once we take all public comment in.
Oh, well, awesome. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I've never really done this before, so I just had a couple, I was just wondering because, I don't want like trucks cutting through like down Pleasant. They did the Soap Street, thing, but like Pleasant Street's right there too, and if people are cutting through and trucks don't know, they might cut through Pleasant Street. I also have, sorry, I have to look at my notes. I'm really sorry. I'm really sick, so I didn't want to come to the meeting and get everybody else sick. On all of the, the maps and everything, they're cutting down all our forests, like we know that, or most of the forest. There's a bunch of acreage that's gonna get cut down. Is there, I'm just curious to see, like on here, there's no plans for solar or anything to be put up at these facilities. Like it's 2026, like maybe people should take that into consideration for their plans. And like, just to put out there, I don't want this here. I've lived on trucking roads. I've worked at truck stops. Like, I don't want this here. I don't want more noise. Me and my husband moved to the quiet corner for it to be quiet. If we wanted to live in Cranston, Rhode Island, we would have moved to Cranston, Rhode Island,
Could I get your name again for the record? Just for the recording
Yeah,
secretary?
it's Deidre. I have a hard name, sorry. Deidre, D-E-I-D-R-E, Simeone, S-I-M-I-O-N-E.
Thank you.
Yep. And then I'm also just worried about what's going to be warehoused there, because there's a big difference between, having a Nike warehouse and then having a warehouse, that has chemicals or anything that might spill and we become a Superfund site. And then, of course, there's the unimaginable, unthinkable that it could become like an ICE detention facility, which I don't want that in my backyard either. Yeah. So, in my mind, the only good thing the distribution center is going to be good for is knocking down the Japanese knotweed and Oriental bittersweet weeds in our area. And I want to thank you guys for being here and having this conversation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Jennifer St. Vincent, and this is Peter Bernard. We own 136 Putnam Pike. This is literally being in the backyard. Our house is that little house right there. So I have a couple of videos that I want you to see. It was brought up. I'm sorry, Mr. Brian, I can't see your name, I'm sorry, and Mr. Michael. some questions that you guys had. So before we show the videos, we had a trench that is about 5 feet long, wide, and about 4.5 feet deep. And it goes all the way from 90 Killenly Pike, all the way down to a drain to the road. We clean that, not the city, not the town. We had to sign documentations with the town stating that if there was ever a water emergency, they can go on there without our acknowledgement. They are allowed to go. We said yes. We don't know why it was put on there. We just said, okay, like there's this big drench. Again, every spring, fall, we're the ones cleaning it. The snowstorm, Mr. Charles was at our home. We dug it out. We had to dig out the drain because there was snow about this high from the plows. We took care of it, not the city, not the town. We did it, just like the one in our driveway. Now, these videos that I'm going to show you, I'm going to explain every single one, the dates. I'm not going to explain. I'm just going to give you a brief. I'm going to tell you the dates of them, and this is our concern. And there is one picture.
Just give me 1 second, because I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Okay.
I'm gonna share it to anyone that's online as well.
Just bear with me because I gotta tell you the dates because I messed up when I tried loading it. Mr. Bryan, I think this is what you were saying about somebody's gonna present the water issues. This was back March 23, 2024. Do you see that wall? That is connected to my home. Those walls have PVC pipes for that water to come through. When I step in my land, that water goes up to my knee. My land, that's not just right there. And the trench is on the other side, to the right of that, on the other side of our driveway, 5 feet away from our driveway. So that's one. That was in, like I said, March 23, 2024.
Just for clarity, this is facing north on your property. The flow's coming from the east to the west.
It's coming from back of 90, yeah, east to west.
And the distribution centers would be behind that?
Yep. This is our driveway. This was March 7th, 2024. As you can see, it did not rain. It did not rain. At the bottom of our driveway, where you're gonna see the drain, all of a sudden, the water started cracking our driveway and coming through from underneath. But again, the rest of the driveway is dried. That was March 7th, 2024. Now, here's another one. December 18th, 2023. This is, again, another picture of the rock wall. When it rains, when the snow starts melting, we didn't have a lot of snow. This is what we are dealt with. This is constant. And the trench that's on the side, see where that driveway line is on the other side and see where that tree with the little rock behind it? It's 5 feet from that curbing is where the trench is. And my property goes even further back. There's a 5 foot wide and a trench that goes all the way down from 90. I've never been back there. I don't walk on other people's properties. But if you stand at the top of my yard, you will see that trench keep going. It was put there for some reason. But again, the water does not go there. The water goes into our property, which causes us all that water. And then the last picture, it was actually what John was saying.
Was it this one right
Yes,
here?
yep.
Okay.
This was the accident on February 12th. This was literally 7 feet away from our home. The pedestrian got hit at 11:36 at night. He got rushed to the hospital and then airlifted to a hospital again. See that little dot? Look right across the street. See the little white house? There's our house. And there's no sidewalks, no lights, no nothing. There is children. I go to work at 6:30 in the morning. There's children riding their bikes up and down, skateboarding, people going back and forth to work all hours of the day. There is no sidewalk. And somebody else mentioned the curbing, 1.5 feet. Go to the front of my driveway. It's literally 4 inches. That's how much space you have from the yellow line to the curbing. 4 inches. My foot doesn't even fit in there. And neither will half of you. This is very dangerous, going to and from the highway, the high school, and the middle school is over there. So I just wanted to present this. We've said everything we've had to say, and we've never actually thanked the commissioners for everything you guys done for us. Listening to us and what you presented today, I heart you so much. You have no idea. This has been literally a nightmare for us. We moved out here to have peace and quiet, just to stay to ourselves, and we've had nothing but nightmares. I've lost 10 pounds in a month and a half due to this.
I sleep 2 hours a day because I'm so scared what's going to happen to my home. I've already been told my home value is going to drop. It's not right. We moved here because we loved the area. We could have went to Thompson, we could have went to Putnam, but this was the area we absolutely loved. From the moment we walked into the first Dunkin' Donuts, I loved it. Honest to God, I'm a Dunkin' girl, I'm sorry, but I absolutely loved it. I have spoken to Mr. John Blake, he's been wonderful. I've spoken to many people, I've made friends, and I'm so grateful for them. Our community has stand behind us, and they didn't even know us, because we all know this is a bad situation for all of us. It's not just about me and my husband and my 2 boys. It's about all of us as a community, including you guys. Because later on, it might not happen in 2 or 3 years, but in 4 or 5 years, what's the disasters that we're gonna deal with? And how are we gonna deal with that? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, we're broke. We're living paycheck by paycheck. I'm sorry, because things just keep coming up on us and we can't handle anymore. But I thank you. I've never thanked you guys, and women, I'm sorry, but I thank you guys all for listening to us and watching our videos. And if you, like I said, if you ever want to come and see the trench, you're more than welcome. You can sit at the bottom of our driveway and look straight up and you'll see it just go. And none of the water goes there. It goes in our property. And we don't complain about it. Like I said, we dug out the snow. We don't complain about it. We know the town is busy. We know the city's busy. We got our snow blower. We'll take care of it. We don't ask for anything from you guys. We've never called on people. We don't have any neighbors. Our neighbors are so far from us. We just stay to ourselves. But please just take everything into consideration. And I welcome you guys to my home, honestly. I'm home after 5:30. You can see it in the dark. It's very visible. We didn't take any pictures because I got home at 6:30 tonight from work. But you don't see much because I'll have to jump in so you guys can see how it goes up to my thigh when I jump in with the snow and the leaves underneath that from the fall, because we cleaned up as much as we can. You'll see that stuff goes up to my thigh. That ditch is up to my thigh. So what was the reason for that? That's what we're still trying to figure out 3 years later. We're still trying to figure out what was the reason for it. And nobody's ever touched it. We've had somebody's home 24 hours a day. Our kids, if somebody pulls in the driveway just turning around, they're texting us, hey, somebody pulled around in our driveway. Okay, because we have a wide driveway. But our boys never saw anybody. I've never seen anybody clean that drain. Because the way I leave it, and I'm OCD with cleaning, the way I leave it is the way that I see it the next time I go to clean my yard. I clean my yard very faithfully. Every 2 weeks, we're out there picking up sticks, cleaning it up, making everything look nice. And never once has the town or the city come and taken care of that. They left it on us, and it's not on our property. That drain is on the bottom, be right in front of the rock wall. You'll see it if you drive by. You'll actually, if you want to drive by, you'll see our mailbox. You'll see a yellow marker, and it's right there. And you'll see the shoveling out and the snow blowing that we did to get it out, so that when everything drains, it has an access to get there. Thank you for listening. I hope you guys have a great night.
Can we hold on for 1 second? We got somebody else on the line. We've got somebody on the line with the number of 401, and then it ends in 43. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You can go on.
Hi, my name is Diane DeLima Crabtree. I live at 872 Upper Maple Street in Dayville. I moved here with my husband, it'll be about 8 years ago. I was 39 years old. It was a very small strip mall. And in the little minimal amount of years, which is 8 years that we've been here, there's been a Five Guys that, I don't know how that went in, but that went in, and Aspen Dental. But more importantly, they put up 3 coffee shops, because we can't just have one, we have to have 3, although we're called the Quiet Corner. What concerns me is this. If we say yes to this, which just by observing the 2 gentlemen that's sitting down at the table, there's a lot of questions that you're not answering, and I'm wondering if you understand what the culture of the Quiet Corner is, number one. And I wonder where the 2 of you live, if you live nearby, because I'm telling you right now, you don't. If we say yes to this now, when I'm 57. What's going to happen when I'm 67 and I'm 77 and I'm 87? What's going to happen with the Quiet Corner? We're not making any more land, but the little bit of land that we have, we're ruining it. For the facility itself, nobody really answered what's going to be inside the facility. If you knew anything about our culture, maybe something like a rehab facility for animals, and agricultural classes, a place for classes for adults and children, maybe even a bigger library. But what you're proposing today, I wish that the room that you're sitting in now was 3 times the size, because we would have more people in that room saying absolutely not. So I would propose and I would support the independent study. Thank you for your time.
Could you please state your name again for the record?
She hung up.
Oh, never mind. Okay, we can check.
I got Diane and then I got Crabtree.
Yep. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Charles Vidick, president of Charles Vidick Associates. I've been a professional land use environmental planner for over 40 years, and I've been asked to look at the project. However, I only talk about the traffic study here today. It's important to understand that there are various types of warehouses. Under the ITE, International Transportation Engineers Trip Generation Manual, either the 11th or the 12th edition, there are at least 6 different types, and one of the types requires to know whether they're a sorting or a non-sorting facility. I'll provide you with a list of those 6 types afterwards here. Without knowing what type of warehouse you're dealing with, you can't anticipate the traffic. You have to know what kind of warehouse it is before you can actually do a traffic study. And that is not possible when you have a black box presentation of what the proposal is. Secondly, and there are 6 points, peak hour traffic versus average weekday traffic. What I have seen of the traffic study, it only shows peak hour traffic. Well, as Mr. Justin Fisher mentioned, if it's a 3-shift operation, you need to look at the 3 shifts. Not only that, though, you need the 24-hour traffic distribution, especially if you're concerned about nighttime noise, because that's where traffic, if you have an enormous number of trucks coming in at the nighttime, those are generating on average 80 to 90 decibels when they go by. And that would be the example of the lady you just heard, Jessie, who just spoke to this issue. So you have the issue with the trip generation factors. One is the average case and one is the worst case. There's no point in looking at the low level. There's no point in looking at the average level. The ITE trip generation rates provide for the low, the average, and the high. Since you're dealing with a black box operation, you need to look at the worst case scenario. That has not been provided by the applicant's traffic study. Also, truth in lending. Truth in lending is where you know and you see everything that's being disclosed. Well, whether the fault is with the commission, the staff, or the applicant, the traffic study does not include any of the appendices. And without knowing the appendices and what they say, there's no way to determine what the specific issues are which are being generated. That's critical. You can't have an approval of a project that doesn't have its appendices, because that's where the rubber meets the road. We've heard talk about the inadequate build scenario. Any legitimate traffic study should look at different options with different build scenarios. That is not part of what we have here. We don't have any methodology as to how the percent increase in traffic has been picked. That's not present either. Probably the most significant deficiency in this study is the inappropriate trip allocation across the intersections that have been allocated for right and left turning movements and straight ahead to determine level of service under the highway capacity manual methodology. Without having a methodology to say why you have such skewed numbers, and those do not come out of the ITE trip generation manual, by the way. They come out of the traffic engineer's decision as to what's appropriate. And appropriate can only be determined by doing something based on two things. One, understanding the marketplace for that type of warehouse within that geographic area. That's a business-based decision. The market drives the traffic for the business in terms of the trucks. But for the employees, it's going to be driven by the housing opportunities within Wellington and the surrounding area. Neither of those methodologies has been included. Therefore, we're dealing with a speculative distribution of the trips based on what might make it look very nice by first not allocating it properly, not including average trips, not including worst-case trip analysis, not looking at the range of warehouses that could be there. So when you approve a black box proposal, you'll have no idea what comes out of it unless you ask for specificities, and that's critical. That's all I have, and I'll leave a copy of this because it includes the chip generation manual numbers, because I am a member of the International Transportation Engineers, and I work with those issues, and I've
Joanne.
been doing transportation planning for 40 years.
Joanne? Joanne, can you make sure I get that, please?
Ula K. Teague Barclay, 26 Dark Lantern Hill Road. I'm here as a resident and also as a town councilor representing my constituents who aren't here today. They want their voices to be heard. So I just wanted to give you some information on the proposed Costco distribution plant that's planned for Canterbury and then for phase 2 to be built in Plainfield. Although it's phase 1 is a 1.1 million square foot distribution center, a little more than twice the size. The new tractor trailer trip generation per day is estimated at 1,287 trucks a day. The car trips are estimated at 487 car trips a day. So we should expect from the combination of the two distribution centers to be half or more of that, especially because they're saying it's 24/7 operation. A 24/7 operation would not be a low use distribution center. And I would also look for required hours of operation because that is disturbing all of the neighbors, not just the one house. And what kind of neighbors do we want in Killingly? Do we want a neighbor who's gonna put their loading docks right next to the neighbor where they will hear those trucks beeping and the smell of the diesel 24/7? There's only one road going in because of the topography of the land and because of wetlands. So I don't believe that that is an adequate place or that's a wrong place for those distribution centers. And even though it has night sky compliant lighting, it's up on a mountain. That's gonna disturb not only the poor family that's on Route 12, it's gonna disturb everybody all around because it's at a top of a mountain and all of that is all light pollution. And I want to thank you. We just had a lot of angry people at the last meeting and they said they were sorry for targeting people, but people are very angry. The northeast corner has gone from a place of wanting to throw power plants to having large-scale distribution centers everywhere. We're no longer going to be the quiet corner. We're just going to be the trucking capital of the world. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Claudette Rogers, and I live at 294 Putnam Pike. I have spoke before about being a bus driver, so I drive out those gates between, I think, 5:45 and 9:15 in the morning. There's crazy traffic. We do need both lanes to turn, left or right. Buses have to go both ways. And there's truly, yes, only 2 buses fitting between the Burger King corner and the 395 North exit. You're not fitting, and if a tractor trailer truck has to go south from that, like, I think 2 trucks at any of the 3, we have 3 main travel times. It's not first, second, and third shift, but yes, we have our first shift where we go out and pick up the high school and KIS, and then second shift where we go pick up the intermediate schools and the preschool, and then they go out again in the middle of the day. So this would be very unwise, I think, just because of having that one entrance and where it sits right on our aquifer. I know we're not talking about the aquifer tonight, but that's where it's sitting. And we've had DEP at the town garage because of that. We have to have our buses and trucks washed inside, so it all goes into the filtered system. They're going to be putting this stuff, their sewer, their septic tanks are going to be running down these people's yards, so whatever they have, at worst case scenario, best case scenario, it is, a rehabilitation center for wildlife, and their waste from the animals is going down towards these people's houses. That's not even feasible. We are an agricultural community, and we should keep it that way. The last Green Valley, and I wanted to, with the third-party analysis too, I'd also recommend that you look into the DEP laws on turtles and amphibian, the vernal pools in the spring, to do a study of what is out there on those wetlands. There could be endangered animals out there. There could be all kinds of stuff, and that study can only be done in the spring. And yes, in this, the no safe walking for pedestrians. Kids do walk from the high school. We, as a town, somehow voted it up to be put up on the hill on the north side of town when we have sidewalks, and, planning and zoning wasn't in the Board of Ed. I don't know, somebody wasn't on the right page of hey, let's put a high school where these kids have nowhere to walk. And I don't know how wide the high school hill is. It's pretty wide. But you got 2 cars, 2 buses going at each other, and you got a broken down car. It's a bad situation, And I've been up there where I got stuck, and they don't do it anymore. They make sure nobody parks along the hill anymore for any of their sporting events or anything like that. But once upon a time, they didn't take that into consideration, and there was no way the fire trucks could get up there. And yeah, it's just not the right location, not the right town. And I hope, all the public coming together and everybody doing what they have to do will make this happen in the right way. Thank you.
Ida Barris, 1123 North Road. Wow, thank you to all these really good questions, and thank you to all the good information coming this way, and from the folks that are calling in. I think it would be a really, really great idea to not issue this special permit and keep the quiet corner quiet. Thank you.
Yes, good evening. My name is Nick Bazzi, 575 Oregon Road, and
I own properties on this road as well as New England Developments, a residential development company I started last year in Kinley, Connecticut. And I 100% support the responsible economic growth and commercial development in our town. However, this corridor already serves the high school, the town garage, 2 highway intersections that are heavily congested during peak hours. While the applicant provided a traffic study, it was brief. It did not accurately depict peak hour congestion or the strain on these intersections. My concern isn't the project itself, but whether the existing infrastructure can safely handle additional traffic, especially during school arrival and dismissal. I strongly agree with the board's idea to conduct an overall third-party review at the applicant's cost. Before any approval is given, I respectfully ask that this is absolutely required. If the applicant truly wants to put the project here, it's their responsibility to fund all necessary traffic and infrastructure improvements on behalf of the town, ensuring that no cost or risk falls to local taxpayers. Additionally, can the applicant clarify the funding commitments, equity percentage, and lender obligations for this project, including whether the First Northern Bank of Wyoming's financing is contingent on specific traffic or infrastructure conditions? Growth is good, but growth without infrastructure planning is reckless, and we can support development here, but only in a way that protects the homes and livelihoods of my fellow townspeople. We could possibly revisit this project in our industrial park not far down the road, even if it's only one of these facilities due to lack of space, where traffic and infrastructure can better accommodate it. Thank you.
Hi, Stacy Stadnicki, 43 Maryland Street. I'd just like to say thank you to all the commissioners. I know how much work it goes into reviewing all of these plans. I've been on that side of the table a while ago now, but yeah. And thank you, because I don't have to ask some of the questions that I wanted to ask because you asked them for me, and so did you. But I would like to say that I am disappointed in the applicant and their lack of preparation for this meeting and their lack of preparation at the last meeting. That's it. Thanks.
Anybody else? Okay, so then, go ahead.
We had received some public comments. Because these public comments are on our website, commission members have received a copy, applicant has received a copy. I'm just going to go through very quickly because there are quite a few of them. We have one here from a Jessica and Donald Alexander. They've been living here for 20 years. They raises significant concerns for them, concerned about environmental impact, and they respectfully urge that they consider the long-term environmental safety and quality of life implications and to prioritize the wishes of the taxpayers who call this town home. Next one is from Alfred Dufresne. Mr. Dufresne's is quite detailed. It's 4 pages long. I would suggest that the commission members read through this to see if there's any questions that arise from this. Next one is from a Patricia Clausen. She wants the thoughtful zoning decisions to prioritize conservation. She's thinking that it's threatening the wildlife and native plant species. Next one is Michaela Horn, asking that you please listen to the majority of the residents of this town who do not want the proposed massive distribution center. And she says on Plainfield Pike. So she is against this. Then we have a Becky Gadbois. I'm sorry if I say the names wrong. She strongly opposes the proposed development. Then we have an unofficial noise study from a Peter Bernard. And he lives at 136 Putnam Pike. He is opposed to the development. And then we have Jennifer St. Vincent and Peter Bernard. And again, they're saying that there's a huge water problem, but these are the 2 people that were up here and we saw the videos from. And then we have a Brian Windrow. He strongly opposes the proposed distribution centers in Killingly. And then we have someone called Jasmine Birdie. She considers it an unnecessary distribution centers. And she calls out the safety issues for the school buses, the issue with traffic, and she says she does not support this. Then we have a Stephanie Bougette. She continues to strongly oppose this, as she calls it, monstrosity distribution center.
And he lives at 136 Putnam Pike. He's opposed to the development.
Hello?
And then we have
Hello, we have someone on the thing from 860, ending in 66. Can you please identify yourself?
Nancy Grindelsky.
All right, do you have anything to say, Ms. Grandowski?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I would like this hearing to stay opened due to all the questions that need to be answered by the applicant. Thank you.
You're welcome. I just have one more, Liberty Hart. Again, she's writing in strong opposition to the proposed distribution center.
Hi, Jennifer St. Vincent, 136 Putnam Pike. I also wanted to let you guys know, I have a petition at 594 people against this. It is through an app. I can send it to John Blake or whoever. I'm not exactly sure how to export it. I know how to export it to my phone. I don't know if I have to print up the papers. I have most of them printed up, but then a whole bunch more came in. It was a petition to stop this warehouse and it's people in the community and the surrounding areas. So I don't know how to give those to you. People are still currently signing it. So I don't know if you guys want to give us a cutoff time or do we have to give it by tomorrow morning?
Well, they're completely irrelevant because you're applying the regulations based on all the evidence related to your standards. So whether you have 2 people opposed or 2,000 people opposed or 100,000 people opposed, that's not the regulations or evidence in the regulations. So your deadline would be to close the public hearing for somebody to submit it. I'm sorry. So, sorry, I'll go over. I forgot to hit the microphone. It's a public hearing, so it can get submitted as long as the public hearing is open. There's no reason to set it, but it just to make reasonable expectations of the public. We're going through a lot of trouble to have a petition signed. Petitions themselves, this isn't an election. This is you are evaluating the application based on all the evidence that you're going to receive related to your standards, and that's what you should be basing your decision on, not the number of people who are in favor or the number of people that are opposed. But in terms of the person's question.
But this is
they
our
can be
town.
submitted- Well, I understand. It can be
This
submitted
is our
anytime-
town.
Anytime during the public hearing.
Anybody else speaking? Okay. I assume we're gonna be continuing this,
We have to continue this.
so
The next meeting date would be continued to March 16th, 2026. And that is just for the public to know, that is a Monday. All our meetings are usually on Monday. It's only been on Tuesdays in January and February due to the holidays. So that's Monday, March 16th.
do you have any comments or?
I was. There's been a lot for us to respond to, a lot of overlap. We want to respond in a comprehensive manner. And the other question, on just the timing of the peer review, I noticed that there's a time.
Mike,
Oh, yeah, Mike's
turn your
on.
mic on.
I noticed that there's a tie and bond reference for peer review later on the agenda. Is tie and bond your typical peer review, or is just for a particular application?
We haven't done it very often, so
This is for an application that's upcoming, but however, we could always consider them, we'd have to ask them for their time schedule.
No, the reason I'm raising it is simply a timing, is simply a timing issue.
turn one of the mics off.
His is off, it's just.
Okay, my question is simply a timing issue. The next meeting is on March 16th. Then the one after that is going to be sometime in April. At that point, I think we're gonna be out of extensions, because you get 35 days to close the hearing, an additional 65 days, it gives us a total of 100 days. So we open the hearing on January 20th. By the time we get to your April meeting, we're gonna be day 90-something. So I'm just, and I think this is all doable, but my question is how quickly do you think the peer reviewer can be brought on board?
We could do it probably as quickly as we needed to.
Okay.
Does that answer everybody's questions? We got two attorneys here, you guys. Work it out.
No. I mean, my question was purely one of logistics. I typically don't object. In fact, I never object to having a peer review because I think they are almost always supportive of the application. They'll look at the evidence, they'll look at his design and give their honest opinion.
Okay, that's what we're looking for. Okay.
Nothing further, Mr. Chairman.
All right, so this is continued. We don't need a motion or anything, right?
You can declare it continued, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so this is continued to the next month.
Continued to March 16th, 2026.
All right, thank you. You didn't want to get involved with this one?
Hey, Mr. Chairman, seeing our bylaws says at 9:45, we have to make a motion to extend the meeting. Can we do it now? So,
We can.
or say,
How much
so,
is left?
in 15 minutes?
I mean, all we got is this real quick. And then the third-party review.
If you think we can do it in 15 minutes?
Mr. Chairman?
Ma'am.
We still have some unfinished business from the prior hearing. So
Coomer Hill.
the
Road.
Coomer Hill,
Oh,
Dottie, we gotta
oh,
take on that.
Okay.
This one has already been continued.
Right.
Let me get this.
I tend to skip over things. Let's, all right, people, please, can you excuse us so we can try to get down here? If you're gonna talk, go in the hallway, please. Thank you. All right, unfinished business subdivision application 251361. Michael and Sharon M. Doty, 101 Coomer Hill Road, JS map 186, lot 3.1, 17 acres, rural development. Proposed two-lot subdivision. Have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve with the following conditions that I just put my glasses away, crap.
Family transfer notes?
Hold on. Yeah, family transfer notes be added to the deeds and the Mylars for filing. That was one other thing. Oh, and that the IWWC decision letter be included in the part of the approval.
Okay, the second? Second by John. Any further discussion?
Keith, I just got a question. I thought it was going to a two-lot subdivision.
It is a
It is
two-lot.
two-lot
This
subdivision.
says three, I said two.
Okay,
There's a misprint on the thing, I'm assuming. so
okay.
I
But
verbalized-
that's the way it was originally advertised, so I have to maintain it that way all the way through.
So I verbalized two-lot.
Okay.
All right, any further discussion? Roll call, please.
John Sarantopoulos.
Yes.
Brian Card.
Yes.
Michael Huco.
Yes.
Norm Farren.
Yes.
And Keith Thurlow.
Yes. Okay. Have a good trip. Application 251362, Derek B. Redgate, is continued. New business, Site plan review application 261363, CPD Killingley LLC, 550 Putnam, Hartford Pike, JS map, PA 114, lot 40, 1.87 acres. Village Commercial request to add 4 additional parking spaces. Review, choose to either refer to staff or act upon it directly. We had discussion with this particular application today, in which, when she asked me about it, I drove through. Granted, I was in my plow truck, so I had a plow, but in the back of the building, they're looking for 2 parking spots. And when I drove around, you have the alley, one of those lanes is occupied by a drive-through for the coffee shop. So you go around that, and then you go around the corner, and there was a tractor-trailer parked there delivering goods, blocking the whole exit lane. So I had to squeeze, I had no choice but to try and squeeze into the drive-through lane, which I couldn't do until the truck moved ahead some, blocking that whole lane. So I don't know what the intent is, or should be, but doesn't sound to me like it should be, that situation should be there. We shouldn't be forced out that lane. I don't know if we can even apply this to anything with these guys requesting the 4 lots. I mean, if I had my druthers, I, would ask that the back 2 lots be extended so you could have a bypass lane with the trucks parked in the back. But I don't know that that's outside of our purview or not, Mr. Attorney.
I'm not sure that it is.
They're requesting an amendment to a site plan. And usually, what happens if it's a minor amendment, it goes to staff. If it's a major, it goes as, we did send it, we discussed it, staff did discuss it with Mr. Thurlow. Mr. Thurlow requested that we come here, and now Mr. Thurlow has some issues with it. And we still have someone here from Solely Engineering, Mr. Derek Redgate, if you have any questions.
Oh, okay. Well, first I'll have to see if we can do anything. If not, then we just act on.
So their existing application is proposed, how would you modify what they're proposing to address the concern?
Well, the 2 in the back of the building, I guess to the north side of the building, they're proposing 2 spots being, the excavation into the hillside to put 2 spots in, which would require a retaining wall, I'm assuming. That to be lengthened so that you could possibly make I don't know if there's enough room or not, but so that you could have a drive-by lane, a bypass lane, and have those trucks park in the back instead of over to the side. Because if I recall the original application, they were supposed to park, the delivery trucks were supposed to be in the back of the building and not on either end of the building.
Does the applicant have any reaction to that concern?
So, I'm pinch hitting on this project since I was here tonight already for Natty Putnam, but this is simply a request to add 4 additional parking spaces because they're needed, and the thought was that it was a minor change. I think I'd have to report back and see if any additional work, if they'd like to make any additional work, but I think, it was a simple request for 4 additional spaces. And I think probably would not make the changes if there was significant site work that went along with them. But again, I'd have to sort of not make that final opinion right now. I'd have to report back.
Mr. Chair, I would just suggest that you defer making the decision about keeping it with the commission versus sending it to staff until they have an opportunity to get back to you, or get back to the commission.
Yeah. I mean, my only comment would be is they're supposed to park the truck, unload the truck in the rear of the building on the original approval. And clearly they're not doing that. And they're blocking access.
So the original approval, that people are parking where in violation of the original approval, it was
Correct.
a condition of the approval, okay.
So, I'm not trying to tell you how to do your job, but I'm just saying is, if they were, I can see that it can be done, you just excavate out 4 of that instead, so you got a bypass lane, so that if the truck's parked in the back, then
Right,
cars
you
can
have
still
more
go
room.
by.
Yeah, no, yeah, I understand the issue. I think that's a good suggestion, and we can report back to you at the next meeting.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
So this is also continued to March 16th, 2026.
Okay, site plan review, that's done. Third-party review. Okay, Anne Marie's got the third-party review for the upcoming application.
Basically, the Killing Inland Wetlands and Watercourses received the following application. I gave you a description of it. The project includes, another warehouse distribution center, a very large one, and the project includes associated landscaping, stormwater drainage, etc. They are having a public hearing on this on March 2nd. They have requested, they thought that it would be a good idea to have a third-party review. When staff saw the complexity of the application, staff went out for an RFQ. We talked to a couple of proposed engineerings. The one that staff suggests is Ty and Bond. We gave you a copy of their proposal, their firm overview, the resume or the curriculum vitae of all the people that would be working on the review, the references. I contacted all the references. They all came back positive. They all said that the biggest thing that I thought was impressive was that they would hire him back, no questions asked. This is on our business park. I did give you a map of our business park, and I gave you a map of the proposed project as far as it goes with the wetlands. So again, it would be staff's recommendation that we move forward with this, with the tie and bond. But I would need a vote from
Commission.
the commission to
John?
move forward with it.
Does this include the traffic study too, the review?
Yes.
Of that whole intersection, Westcott Road and?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Further comments?
Did we extend the meeting?
Not yet. If we can get done, we can get I'm trying to get here. I'm trying to get it done. I don't want to be here any longer.
Do we have to appoint alternates now that Keith?
Yeah, well, yeah, we have to, for the record, he left, so Lorraine can vote. Any other comments?
Nope.
Okay,
Need a motion?
yes.
Make a motion to accept it.
I'll second the motion.
Further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? None.
Okay, one more question. Do you want me to ask them if they're willing to pick up another third-party review? I would have to get another estimate from them.
Consensus, just a consensus? Yes? Yes? Yes?
Yes.
Yes?
Yep.
Yeah, the
Consensus?
comment says.
Does that work? Consensus?
And it might make it speedier too, because we've worked on the agreement with Ty and Bond in anticipation that the commission may be accepting that. So I think to get them as quickly into it as possible, it's a good idea.
So it's a unanimous consensus.
Okay.
Adoption of minutes, January 20th, 26.
Make a motion to adopt.
Second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? Miscellaneous correspondence, zoning practice, no comments? Okay. Departmental review, zoning officer,
I'll keep it very brief, given the time. I submitted a opposition to Senate Bill 151. That's available on the Joint Committee on Housing. I have a copy if anyone is interested. There was items inside the bill that didn't actually address affordability of housing, opened up for residential housing with unlimited height and 100% lot coverage. It would also this is in areas serviced by sewer, but no provisions were given whether or not the sewer had capacity, and also allowed for lots no greater than 5,000 square feet in those areas. There's other items in it. If anyone is interested, I can give you a copy of that testimony.
well, at some point you were gonna give us a summary of that bill anyway, right?
Well, so that's a different bill. House Bill 8002. I do have that same overview, but Halloran Sage is actually going to be doing a presentation for all the municipalities. It is free to register for those affected. I believe that's also a Tyche planning organization. We will give you guys a copy of the link to that, so that way you can register if you'd like. I know I registered. I think others have as well. So that's on March 11th, I believe, and which is a Wednesday night.
Okay. Economic development?
Our next meeting is March 3rd. Our long-awaited Brickyard project is out to bid. We have all the approvals from the state. And then our 5th Small Business Academy starts March 17th. It'll run for 6 weeks at the Killingly Public Library. And we will be doing another community update on our Brownfields EPA grant and the environmental reports, and probably in April.
Okay, town council?
Yes, let's see if I keep a voice. We did pass, we had the opportunity to pass from the state legislature, relief for the veterans that are permanently disabled. That we agreed that we would take the medium house income in Killingly, that they would not have to pay up to that point in taxes. And that would also apply to the surviving spouse. We did not accept an extra 2 acres, so. That's one thing we did. In the next meeting, I'm hoping we're gonna get it on the agenda to look at putting cameras downtown and what it would cost when we take into consideration how many we already have. If we really want to go downtown and we want to make it more prosperous, we got to make it as safe as possible for all the foot traffic. So that's the end of my report.
Okay, call it a meeting. All in favor of?
Make a motion to adjourn.
There you go. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.